Welcome back to Story Friends. In this video we will discuss the Connect Part 2 storyline, episodes 4 to 6. But before we get to the storyline, don't forget to watch Part 1 to understand the storyline. As usual, prepare snacks and sit in the most comfortable place. The second part opens by showing Jin Seob visiting the surgeon. He beats up the doctor while asking, how could his eyes be replaced with those of a Connect? Because he didn't want to be killed. The doctor finally told what really happened that night. When Dong Soo was kidnapped by thugs, Jin Seob also came to see the doctor. He was injured. Initially the doctor refused Jin Seob's arrival, but he was willing to pay anything, so he could be operated on. At that time he was also suffering from terminal cancer, so he would not live long. Hearing this, the doctor finally agreed, and conducted an experiment, with one of the Dong Soo's eyes are left behind. After hearing the desired answer, Jin Seob did not hesitate to kill the doctor immediately. Meanwhile at the hospital, Dong Soo being interrogated by Detective Choi and also his partner. At that time, Dong Soo tried to be honest, but Detective Choi's colleague didn't believe him. Detective Choi finally took Dong Soo to the rooftop, so he could tell everything freely. There, Dong Soo said about the murder plan, which would be perpetrated by a psychopath killer, where the next target this time is 3 girls. Hearing that, Detective Choi asked Dong Soo not to interfere anymore in this case. It would be better if the police were to go directly and handle everything. Dong Soo refused, because only he knows about the psychopathic killer. Finally Dong Soo decides to run away, by jumping from the rooftop. That same night, Dong Soo deliberately set fire to several schools around the area, to make sure that all the children did not go to school. As a result of that, Jin Seob finally changed plans with another murder. Dong Soo then met Orang, who was already waiting in front his house. He said that he wanted to say something to Dong Soo. Unexpectedly, Orang admitted that he was also a Connect. That of course made Dong Soo happy, because in this world he was not alone. Both of them accidentally injured their palms, and connected their respective cells. The next day, Dong Soo again had a vision from Jin Seob, because his initial plan had failed. Now Jin Seob showed his next victim. This time Jin Seob had caught a music producer named Z, who had rearranged Dong Soo's song. Jin Seob casually challenged Dong Soo to meet him. If he didn't want Z to die in his hands, he even casually slashed Z's chest, to provoke Dong Soo's anger. That also made Dong Soo very frustrated, because Z, who was innocent, had to be dragged into this problem because of him. When went to save Z, Dong Soo got a message from the thugs, who had beaten his boss. They threatened that if Dong Soo didn't surrender, then Grandpa would be killed. This action was also based on their hatred of Orang, so they planned to arrest both of them at once. Orang then told Dong Soo to go save grandfather, while he would be there and face all the thugs. When he arrived at the factory, Dong Soo immediately saved his boss, but at that time, he was hit in the head, until he was unconscious. As soon as he woke up, Dong Soo was bound by a chain. He then cut the chain with a metal cutting machine, so he could escape. At the same time, Orang was surrounded by thugs. He was finally arrested, and also interrogated, because Orang did not want to be honest. One of the thugs slashed his face. Because of this, they finally found out that Orang was also a connection. Orang finally fought the thugs and left there immediately. After saving his boss, Dong Soo apologized, because all this happened because of him. The grandfather, who initially thought Dong Soo was a monster, feeling grateful to Dong Soo, he also told Dong Soo to leave immediately, and complete what was his responsibility. At the same time, the police found the body of a thug known as Woo Jin. At that time, Woo Jin was found with a camera filled with photo of Jin Seob. Woo Jin was indeed assigned to be an FBI agent who investigated Jin Seob, but in the process he was actually killed. The police immediately suspected that the perpetrator of the murder was Jin Seob, even though the real perpetrator was Orang. Orang deliberately killed Woo Jin so that the police suspected Jin Seob, and Orang's aim seems to have succeeded. While Dong Soo and Orang were hiding, Dong Soo again got a vision from Jin Seob. Using his blood, Jin Seob wrote down the location and time of the meeting for Dong Soo. After that, Dong Soo immediately rushed to the location that had been determined. When he got there, Jin Seob got out of the car, wearing a body cover, complete with a mask. It turned out that at that place Jin Seob had prepared the deadliest poison gas to kill Dong Soo. If Dong Soo could not die injured, he thought, maybe poison could kill him. Indeed, Dong Soo's heartbeat had weakened and stopped for a while, but not long after, his heart started beating again. In a fainting state, Dong Soo was brought to Jin Seob's headquarters. In the middle of the trip, Jin Seob told Dong Soo his goal was to do all this. After learning about Connect, he started to think about doing experiments with his already weak body. What if Jin Seob took Dong Soo's body, but still used his brain and face too? Could that save him from death, or could it make him connect? At the same time, Orang met someone named Kaiden. Unexpectedly, that Kiden was also a connect. Just like Orang and Dong Soo, Orang accidentally woke Kiden up and invited him come out of the hiding place, because it is time for the Genet to come out of the hiding place. They both plan to kill anyone who intends to use their bodies. Meanwhile, at the police station, Detective Choi gets CCTV evidence, which shows Jin Seob attacking Z and kidnap him. From that evidence, Detective Choi is increasingly convinced that the psychopathic killer is Jin Seob. At the same time, Dong Soo is taken to Jin Seob's headquarters, where he completed his work of art. The victim this time is the surgeon, who was already hanged on the crossboard. According to Jin Seob, the surgeon was the one who brought them together, the weakened Jin Seob, and the Dong Soo who kept hiding from the world, as if fated to meet. Because of this, Jin Seob also offered to unite Dong Soo's body with his head, because he knew Dong Soo would definitely refuse. Jin Seob didn't run out of ways. He took out Z, which was used as a threat. If Dong Soo refused his offer, then Z would be killed. Seeing Z's current condition, Dong Soo felt very guilty. Then Jin Seob shows Dong Soo his experiment. He cuts off Dong Soo's finger and exchanges it with Z's finger.
잘 받으라고. 어떻게 이런 게 이 세상에 태어난?
With the experimental results, Jin Seob was sure that fusion of his head with Dong Soo's body would also work. A few moments later, Dong Soo woke up in the refrigerator with Z. Dong Soo apologized to Z because he was the one who made all this happen. Guilty to Dong Soo, because he couldn't help him to catch the psychopath killer. After saying that, Z finally died in front of Dong Soo. That made Dong Soo feel very angry, so he was desperate to cut his wrists so he could be free. Elsewhere, Orang and Kaiden came to the thugs' base. With their strength, they both managed to kill all the thugs, without any remaining. After that, Orang and Kaiden rushed to Jin Seob's headquarters. That's when Orang tried to free Dong Soo, who was trapped in the freezer. In the process, Orang was caught and attacked by Jin Seob. Seeing his wound heal instantly, made Jin Seob realize that Orang was connect. This also made Jin Seob's crazy idea appear again. What if Dong Soo and Orang had children? Or what if he and Orang had children? What would happen to their offspring? Hearing this, Orang was angry and immediately attacked Jin Seob, even though was attacked many times, but Orang still got up, because his body recovered quickly. Not long after, the sound of the arrival of Detective Choi and his police colleagues was heard. This also made Jin Seob afraid, so he chose to run away. After that, Orang immediately saved Dong Soo. Dong Soo then goes after Jin Seob. To stop all this, Jin Seob, who was hiding, then kills a detective who almost found him. On the other hand, Kaiden attacks Detective Choi thinking he wants to hurt him. Luckily Orang arrives at the right time, and explained everything to Detective Choi. They as connect, now they will not hide anymore, and will show their abilities to anyone. If Detective Choi doesn't want to be killed, then he shouldn't hinder them. Detective Choi said, he doesn't care about connect, and only focused on catching the psychopath killer. Back to Dong Soo. He finally faced Jin Seob. Jin Seob then shot Dong Soo many times, but it had no effect whatsoever. Even when one of his shots hit Dong Soo's eye, the eye recovered quickly. Dong Soo took advantage of this opportunity to retract his eyes, which were on Jin Seob's body. After getting his eyes back, now is the time for Dong Soo to finish off Jin Seob. When he was about to attack Jin Seob, Dong Soo was suddenly stopped by Detective Choi. However, if Dong Soo kills Jin Seob, he will be arrested by the police, because he has committed murder. It would be better if Dong Soo handed over this case to the applicable law. Detective Choi then told Dong Soo and Orang to leave immediately, because the SWAT team would come soon. When Dong Soo and Orang were about to escape, several helicopters came and surrounded the base, and Series Connect was finally finished. There were still many questions in my mind. In the ending, who came by helicopter? Was it the SWAT team as Detective Choi said, or even help for Dong Soo and also Orang? Then the beginning of the human race connection was also not explained in detail. In the ending there was also a scene that shows Z's finger moving. Does that mean he's still alive then turns into Connect? And not to mention the genie Seob. Is he still alive or dead, or will he be punished? Maybe all these questions will be answered in the second season. Please friends interpret the ending yourself. Bye.